Hiya, I'm a Zamen, and my station doesn't matter, Celica. I'm here because I was called. I have a duty to perform, and I'll perform it, no more and no less. I want to talk about Alm, the main protagonist of Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia, who I think is a contender for the best lord in the franchise. Sigurd might dethrone him though, I just haven't played Genealogy yet. I'll play it after Thracia, I promise. Now listen, I love Marth. He sets a good standard, but he's not too stellar and he's not too awful. I love Leaf. His story and journey and role as a lord who can't quite measure up is so compelling. I love Ike. He's huge. I love Lucina. Her being in Smash Bros got me into Fire Emblem, and she's such a dork. I love Alir and his heroic aesthetic. I think he's got the best design, though. However, Alm, in my opinion, is just the full package. He hits every nail on the head perfectly, from gameplay to design to personality, and especially in the journey his character goes on. So for today, let me talk about Alm, spoilers and all, but you probably don't care about those. Quickly though, let's talk about Alm in terms of gameplay, and before you ask, no, I did not play Gaiden, I just played Echoes. I bought Echoes. Literally, it was $45 well spent. Check it. So, Alm in Echoes. He's the main character. Celica sadly plays second fiddle to him, but throughout the game, on his route, Alm is regularly one of the best characters the player has access to. He's literally the best character you have at the start of the route because of raw attack, good defense, and wonderful growths. He can suffer somewhat in the speed department, but that's not a huge concern. He is sword locked throughout the entire game, but the weapon triangle doesn't exist in either Gaiden or Echoes, so lances are his prey. Then, once Alm promotes into a hero, he uniquely gains access to bows, which no other lord aside from Leaf can technically boast being able to use outside of reclassing. I think it's cool, and it makes Alm look a little more scrappy and humble. Additionally, Alm has two personal weapons, the Royal Sword, which gives him great accuracy and damage. Upgrade that thing though, because it will serve you well. Then, come the end of the game, literally before the final boss, he acquires his version of Falchion, which means he is the only one who can legitimately end the game, time-honored glitches aside of course. Now that we breeze past that, let's talk about Alm's design, which has a bit going on because despite being the second Fire Emblem Lord, he is more than just Marth but green, especially in Echoes. No more blue hair for him. What do I mean? Oh, well, if you didn't know, Alm's design for a very long time has been very inconsistent. You see, in the original Gaiden, Alm's official artwork had green hair, but Alm's in-game sprite had blue hair, and then Alm's official artwork from 1996's Fire Emblem The Complete Art Book had a blue-haired Alm, leaving some confusion on the official hair color for at least another decade and a half. Then Alm's design got an upgrade in Fire Emblem Awakening's DLC, the one where we got Lolly Celica and this Alm, who looks vaguely royal but has an outfit more befitting of a mercenary. The clothes aren't important, but check out his hair. It's green, but with blue tips, so it's kind of the best of both worlds. After some Fates Landia, we then arrived at the new and official Alm going forward, which, bam, is peak. I love and adore the muted colors of his armor. It's this neat dark green that isn't too garish or in your face. The armor even looks chipped and kinda dirty, making it well worn, and you have these splotches in the Shadows of Valentia art by Hadari. Now, the glamorous artwork of Heroes kind of does away with all the dirtiness, but it does keep all the chipping and the damage it has, making Alm's armor look worn and used, which does help sell his backstory as a simple village boy. Another great detail is the art showing us how Alm is left-handed. Look here in his stance. His sword is held in his left hand. This is even carried over when Alm promotes, where he has his shield in his right hand, meaning his dominant hand is still his left, and the off hand is his right. And this detail is further carried on in all of his heroes' artwork and even the little chibi combat animations. That's awesome! Now let's talk about his legendary weapon, the Falchion, because the version from Shadows of Valentia is easily my favorite incarnation of the legendary blade. Falchions' hilt has a golden trim that surrounds this red gem that makes it look like the blade has an eye. And is it just me, or does that red gem kind of look like a fire dragonstone? Like the ones from Shadow Dragon? No? Just me? Okay. Beyond that little speculation, my favorite detail about this sword is just the sheer size of it. Look at it in the hero's artwork, the sword is almost as tall as Alm. And compare this to other falchions like the one that Marth wields or the one that Crom and Lucina wield. Those are regular size swords. Alm's falchion is massive. Alm's falchion only ever looks like a normal sized sword when it's being held by Emperor Rudolph, who is stupid tall. However, I did mention the hero's artwork, and let's just take a moment to appreciate all of these lovely renders by heroes, because they all look so good, but my favorite is easily Alm's Resplendent, because these feathers, they're so good. I am getting distracted by shiny things again. So let's talk about Alm's general personality. Being a hero in a Fire Emblem game, Alm is naturally a kind-hearted young man with a strong sense of justice. He's also an idealist who strives and hopes for the best possible outcome, but he's also partially a realist. Alm's idealism is displayed quite well when Alm accepts the call to adventure by offering to join the Deliverance in his grandfather's stead. During this scene, Alm was told that his grandfather refused to stand up and fight against the tyranny running rampant across Sophia. He then stands up for his grandfather Mycen by saying,
Lucas, wait!
What is it?
I'll go. I'll join the Deliverance.
You?
What the hell? You can't do that. Wait, can you do that? I'll admit, you fight like a beast and they'd be lucky to have your sword. But this isn't sparring with your gramps, Alm. You're volunteering to go to war. I know what it is. And if Grandfather won't do it, then I'll do it for him. Consider my sword as his.
I understand how you feel, but...
Sir Mycen has been teaching me to use a blade since I was a boy. I've received tutelage in military tactics, medicine, weather, terrain. I know as much about war as any man who has never seen one can. Let me fight for you with my grandfather's gifts. I'll prove he's no cowardly old man. He's a warrior who trains warriors.
That might just work.
Huh? Then you mean...
Right there, Alm defended his grandfather. He didn't badmouth Sir Mycen. Instead, he accepted the fact that his grandfather must have reasons, deciding to see the best in Sir Mycen and offering to fight in his place because he wants to give Sophia a best outcome. Then, throughout his efforts to reclaim Sophia, he manages to stay humble. Despite supposedly having a hero's blood in him by being Mycen's grandson, Alm doesn't let that go to his head, and makes sure to respect the opinions of everyone in his army, even when those members may disagree with him. Alm will gladly accept criticism and people bad-mouthing him, but he won't stand for it when it's his friends or people he respects being insulted. We can see this through Alm's interactions with Fernand.
These curs you so easily disparage fought valiantly for us. In fact, without Alm, we might not have retaken the southern outpost. I can vouch for their strength.
As if the word of a backwater noble carries weight with me. Your entire house should be kissing the Knights of Sophia's feet.
I think that's enough. You can say whatever nasty things about me you like. I'll get over it. But Lucas deserves your respect.
Like a real one, Alm tells people to take their frustrations out on him, not his friends, and he's able to do that because of the lack of an ego he has. Alm is genuinely humble, and we see this through his conversation with Celica after he reclaims Sophia Castle and is regarded as a hero by the Sophian populace. There he states he has no desire to proclaim himself as king, which he could easily do. Instead, all he wants to do is protect his homeland and would gladly step down if Princess Amti showed herself. A reason for why Alm says this might be because he feels like he knows his place. At that point in the story, Alm still sees himself as a humble village bumpkin. Yet, it's this commoner upbringing that is one of his greatest strengths as a leader. For Alm is truly someone who the common soldier can empathize with and understand. While Alm's grandfather may be this legend, Alm himself was raised with no luxury other than Sir Mycen's tough training. He is still a commoner, and many people, both friend and foe, see him as such. However, beyond this image, Alm is really naive and he lacks a lot of knowledge about the outside world. However, he tries to combat this by being open and attentive to all. which lets him get along with nearly everyone. Additionally, Alm is emotionally vocal. He reacts to things accordingly and wears his heart on his sleeve. We see Alm multiple times in anguish, especially in the end after his origins are revealed. And let's take a small detour to praise Alm's English voice actor, because Kyle McCarley gives an S-tier performance as Alm. Like, give a listen to the pain, anguish, and raw emotion in these key scenes.
Please, my son, you must.
No, wait! Emperor Rudolph! Were you truly my father? Then I've just... Oh, gods! What have I done?
And like, just in general, Shadows of Valentia has a stellar English dub. Let me assure you, dear viewer, those are not.
Nothing but lies. Lies! 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 Lies!
Back to Alm, the character who, based upon these performances, we can see that Alm has this big desire for family. Growing up in Ram Village, he was actually quite lonely, especially after Celica left. Despite having friends in Tobin, Cliff, Gray, and Faye, there was also this distance between them, some kind of invisible barrier that made Alm different from them. These feelings grew into this desire to have a family, a place where Alm could feel like he truly belongs. Alm in turn ends up treating many members of the Deliverance like this family to try and fill that void, and this great longing he has is why he gets so heartbroken and saddened when these opportunities are just pulled out of his reach, such as when Rudolph dies after revealing the truth, or when Berkut dies.
Berkut, no! Please, I don't want to be alone again. Help me rebuild Rigel. Tell me about my father.
You're not a child anymore. Oh, you must make Valentia a land not of gods, but of men. A world where people never again are corrupted by divine power. You can do it. I know you. Berkut! Berkut! Why? Someone please tell me. I never got to know you. Or my father.
Alm gets so distraught at so many points in the story, but everyone around him tells him to basically man up. The situation needs Alm to step up as a hero. While he can show these emotions and have these moments of weakness, Alm needs to keep going. He needs to be the hero of Valentia, the one they need. Only he can bring an end to this conflict, which is what makes Alm's journey so powerful and emotional. The story of Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia is a very simple one. Alm goes in pretty much a straight line. He fights an evil army to reclaim his country from an invasion. Then he launches a counter-invasion, slays the tyrants, and goes on to defeat a greater threat beyond the tyrants. And throughout this journey, we see Alm grow from a naive country boy to a determined and wise leader. Yet throughout all of it, Alm keeps his kindness. Despite learning hard truth after hard truth, Alm does not allow these truths to jade him or make him bitter. Instead, he uses them to harden and strengthen his resolve. While Alm's love and compassion was grown in Zofia, his strength was forged by Rigel. I think that about covers Alm. I know I haven't really discussed his relationship with Celica, but honestly, I think that's something I can better discuss from Celica's perspective. Because, oh, there's a lot to talk about with her. And also, from Celica's perspective, she is the one who knows the most things for the most part, where Alm is pretty much in the dark for a good part of the story. Alm's journey throughout Echoes is one of my favorites of any of the lords, and Sigurd is still not allowed to comment. His adventure is simplistic, but that's not a bad thing. There is greatness in simplicity. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, you just need to make something good using the medium you have, which Alm succeeds in. Also, I love his development because we can see Alm really grow into a leader throughout the story, which is something I really can't say for Corin, Marth, or Roy, or even Edelgard. Edelgard's kinda just goated from the start, but yeah, that's another topic for later. Plus, Alm literally has one of the best credentials of any lord. Bro got through Nui Baba's abode. I'd like to see other Protects try and go through that monstrosity. But, speaking of Alm's actions, he leaves behind this strong legacy that endures well after he passes away. The continent of Valentia is renamed Valm in his honor and persists all the way into the era of Crom, which is more than 2,000 years later. Alm's history and role as this great unifier of Valentia is shown through Walhart, the Conqueror in Awakening. What Walhart does to bring Valm together is a mirror of what Alm went through. Even with Alm's compassion, he was only able to succeed through brutal conquest, a statement which is further reflected in Alm's Tier 3 DLC promotion as a Conqueror, sick art, which is the same class as Walhart, so retroactively Walhart is an homage to Alm. Additionally, we do really feel the consequences of Alm's actions throughout Awakening because, well, Grima may/could be his fault. In the post-game, he may have released Grima from imprisonment and therefore be retroactively responsible for the damage and horror caused by Grima over the next 2,000 years and several timelines. Still, I would fully recommend playing Echoes. Hell, you can even try that Echoes GBA Demake those lads pulled out. It's apparently super solid, but I would recommend the 3DS game proper. And I guess Gaiden 2, but I have no desire to play it myself. I suppose that about covers it. I have been a Zamen, and thank you very much for watching this video. So consider sticking around if you don't hate my voice. My sole goal here is to improve my writing, editing, and speaking. Goodbye.